The mirror doesn't lie, but tonight it flatters. Diana Monroe, 45 and luminous in emerald silk, studies her reflection backstage at Madison Square Garden. 20,000 people are chanting her name, but she hears only the hollow echo of her hotel suite waiting after the show, empty, save for room service menus and the ghost of who she used to be. She thinks of her daughter Emma, 20 now, away at Columbia, texting less each month. She thinks of Marcus, her ex-husband, probably with his 28-year-old girlfriend at some downtown bar, spending Diana's alimony on craft cocktails. 15 years of marriage dissolved because he couldn't resist his yoga instructor. The tabloids had feasted on that carcass for months. 5 minutes, Ms. Monroe. The stage manager calls. Diana adjusts her microphone pack, smooths her dress, and prepares to give 20,000 strangers the performance of their lives. Because that's what she does. That's all she has left. What she doesn't know is that in the restless crowd, a young man named Julian Cross sits slumped in his seat, heartbroken and dragged here against his will, about to wander into the wrong bathroom and collide with destiny. What she doesn't know is that in 7 minutes, her carefully constructed walls will meet a wrecking ball with paint-stained hands and honest eyes. What she doesn't know is that some mistakes are meant to happen. The lights go black. The crowd roars. And somewhere in the darkness, fate adjusts its coordinates. The bass from the stage rumbles through the arena's concrete bones like a heartbeat. Julian Cross navigates the crowded corridor with the enthusiasm of a man at his own execution. His best friend Marco practically dragged him here after finding Julian staring at his ex-girlfriend's Instagram for the 3rd hour straight. "I'm telling you, man, Diana Monroe live is transcendent," Marco had insisted. "You need this. You need to feel something again." What Julian needs is a studio, his paintbrushes, the familiar smell of linseed oil and turpentine. What he needs is to not be here, drowning in a sea of screaming fans, all worshipping a woman he's never heard of because he doesn't own a television and his Spotify consists entirely of Miles Davis and ambient noise. The bathroom sign glows ahead like salvation. He pushes through the door, grateful for the relative quiet, and locks himself in a stall. 28 years old and hiding in a bathroom at a concert. His father would be so proud. "Get it together," he mutters to himself, pressing his palms against his eyes. She wasn't the one. She wasn't. Women who cheat with their personal trainers are not the one. You're a professional artist. You have a gallery showing next month. You have value beyond her validation. You are not going to cry in a bathroom at a Diana Monroe concert because that would be pathetic even by your current standards. The bathroom door swings open. Julian doesn't look up, continuing his self-directed pep talk. "You're going to walk out of here, sit through this concert, and tomorrow you're going to paint something brilliant. Something that makes her regret every—" "I'm sorry," a woman's voice interrupts, amused and smoky. "But I think you might be in the wrong bathroom." Julian's head snaps up. Standing by the sinks, backlit by fluorescent lights like some kind of ethereal vision, is Diana Monroe herself. He recognizes her now from the posters plastered everywhere. But in person, she's something else entirely. Not the glossy, untouchable star from the advertisements, but a real woman with laugh lines around her eyes and a knowing smile playing at her lips. "This is the men's room," Julian says automatically, then realizes how stupid that sounds. Diana gestures to the tampon dispenser on the wall. "Pretty progressive men's room." Heat floods Julian's face. He looks around, really looks, and sees the lack of urinals, the small trash bins, the slight floral scent he'd been too distracted to notice. Oh my God. It happens. Diana crosses to the mirror, touching up her lipstick with steady hands. Though usually people figure it out before having a complete breakdown in the stall. "I wasn't having a breakdown," Julian protests, emerging from the stall. "I was processing." "Okay." She caps her lipstick, studying him in the mirror. "Girlfriend trouble?" "Ex-girlfriend. Very ex found her with her personal trainer doing things that probably violated gym membership policies." A surprised laugh escapes Diana. "That's specific." "I'm a specific person." Julian moves to the door, mortified. "I should go. You probably have a show or something." "Or something." She turns to face him directly now. You're not going to scream or ask for a selfie? Should I be? Diana's eyes narrow, searching his face for any hint of mockery. Finding none, she smiles, a real smile, not the practiced one from her album covers. You genuinely don't know who I am, do you? Diana Monroe. My friend Marco has been talking about you for 3 hours. Apparently, you're transcendent. But you've never heard my music. I don't really do pop music. No offense. I'm sure you're very good at whatever it is you do. For a moment, Diana just stares at him. Then she starts laughing, really laughing, the kind that bends you at the waist. Oh my God, you're serious. Why is that funny? Because I'm standing here in full hair and makeup about to perform for 20,000 people, and you think I'm probably very good at whatever it is I do. She wipes at her eyes carefully, preserving her mascara. What's your name? Julian. Julian Cross. Well, Julian Cross, since you've wandered into my pre-show sanctuary and provided the most honest interaction I've had in months, I'm going to offer you a deal. She pulls out her phone, glancing at the time. I have 3 minutes before I'm due on stage. Use the bathroom, wash your face, and go back to your seat. Watch the show. You might actually enjoy it. I was planning to do that anyway. And Julian? She pauses at the door, something playful and dangerous in her expression. The women's room is sacred ground. Next time you have a breakdown, check the door first. She's gone before he can respond, leaving only the faint scent of her perfume and the echo of her laughter. Julian stands alone in the bathroom, his heartbreak suddenly feeling very far away. He washes his face, studies his reflection, paint still under his fingernails, hair a disaster, eyes red from 3 days of insufficient sleep, and wonders what the hell just happened. Then he goes back to his seat. Marco looks at him questioningly. You good? Yeah, Julian says slowly. I think I might actually be good. The lights go down. The crowd erupts. And when Diana Monroe takes the stage in a spotlight that makes her seem like she's made of starlight itself, Julian forgets to think about his ex-girlfriend at all. The final notes of Diana's encore fade into thunderous applause. Julian has to admit, grudgingly, because Marco will be insufferable about being right, that the show was exceptional. Not transcendent, maybe, but Diana Monroe commands a stage like a general commands an army. Every gesture purposeful, every note precise, every moment calculated to maximize impact. But what stays with him are the quiet moments between songs, when she spoke to the audience like old friends, her voice dropping from performance to conversation. In those moments, she became the woman from the bathroom. Warm, self-deprecating, real. I told you, Marco shouts over the crowd noise as they shuffle toward the exits. Didn't I tell you? You told me. And you were wrong. I was wrong. Say it louder for the people in the back. I will push you down these stairs. Marco's phone buzzes. He glances at it, his expression shifting. Oh, hell no. What? My dad. He's texting me. Marco scrolls, his face a mixture of exasperation and affection. He says, and I quote, I saw on Facebook that you're at the Diana Monroe concert. Your mother wants you to get an autograph. She's been a fan since the 90s. Don't come home without one. Tell him you tried but couldn't. You don't understand. My mother will literally disown me. She has every Diana Monroe album. She saw her open for Mariah Carey in 1997. This is non-negotiable. Julian checks his watch. It's midnight. How are you supposed to get an autograph? Stage door. There's always a stage door. Marco grabs Julian's arm, steering him against the flow of the crowd. Come on. You owe me for dragging you out of your depression cave. I was painting. You were staring at blank canvases and listening to sad jazz. Miles Davis isn't sad. He's contemplative. He's depressing as hell, and you know it. They navigate through the maze of corridors, following the flow of diehard fans who know the pilgrimage route. Outside the stage door, a crowd of about 50 people has gathered, clutching posters and albums and phones, hoping for a glimpse of their idol. Security guards stand like sentinels, their bulk suggesting that hopes will be crushed. This is pointless, Julian says. Just wait. Sometimes they come out. They wait. 30 minutes. 45. The crowd doesn't thin. If anything, it grows denser, more desperate. People compare stories of previous encounters, debate setlists, analyze Diana's outfit choices with scholarly intensity. Julian learns more about Diana Monroe in an hour than he wanted to know in a lifetime. She's been performing for 23 years. Started at 22 with an independent album that went viral before viral was really a thing. 4 Grammys. Sold-out world tours. A marriage to music producer Marcus Klein that ended in a very public divorce 2 years ago. A daughter named Emma at Columbia. She's basically living the dream. A young woman next to them says, showing her friend an Instagram post. Look at this photo from Paris last month. I would kill to have her life. Julian thinks about the woman in the bathroom, touching up her lipstick before facing 20,000 strangers. He wonders if she'd agree. The stage door opens. The crowd surges forward. Security pushes back. And Diana Monroe steps out, now in jeans and a leather jacket, her makeup mostly removed, looking exhausted and somehow more beautiful for it. Hi everyone, she says, and the crowd erupts. I can sign for about 15 minutes, okay? Then I have to head out. She works the line efficiently, signing albums and posters, posing for selfies, murmuring thank yous and you're so sweets with practiced grace. Julian watches her operate, notes how her smile never quite reaches her eyes now, how she's already checked out even as she goes through the motions. Marco elbows him. We're never going to make it to the front, but Diana's eyes scan the crowd as she signs, and then they land on Julian. Her expression shifts, surprise, recognition, something that might be pleasure. She signs another album, poses for another selfie, then speaks to one of her security guards. He nods and starts moving toward Julian and Marco. Gentlemen, the guard says, his voice making it clear this isn't a request. Come with me. The crowd parts resentfully as they're escorted to the front. Diana finishes signing a poster for a teenage girl, then turns to face them. Bathroom boy, she says. I wondered if you stayed. Marco's head swivels toward Julian so fast it's a miracle he doesn't get whiplash. Bathroom boy. Long story, Julian mutters. Did you enjoy the show? Diana asks, and there's genuine curiosity in her voice. Your honest opinion. Julian could lie. Could give her the easy answer, the one she probably hears 1,000 times a night. Instead, he finds himself saying, it was excellent. Really impressive. But I prefer my sleep, honestly. I have work tomorrow. The crowd around them gasps. Marco looks like he wants to die. Diana's security guard tenses, ready to escort them away from the crazy person insulting his boss. But Diana laughs. Really laughs the same way she did in the bathroom. You're unbelievable. He doesn't mean it. Marco jumps in desperately. He's been going through some stuff. His girlfriend cheated. He's not thinking straight. He actually loved the show. We both did. It was transcendent. Your friend has opinions, Diana says, still looking at Julian. I appreciate that. He's also an artist, Marco continues, apparently determined to salvage this disaster. He has a gallery showing next month. His paintings are incredible. He's just being his usual self-sabotaging self. You paint. Interest flickers in Diana's eyes. Yes, Julian says. What kind of work? Abstract expressionism mostly. Some portraiture. Nothing you'd probably find interesting. You have a remarkable talent, Diana says, for assuming what I'd find interesting. They stare at each other. The crowd watches. Marco vibrates with secondhand anxiety. I should go, Julian says finally. We just came for an autograph. For Marco's mother. Diana takes the album Marco thrusts at her, signs it with a flourish. Your mother has good taste. She does, Marco says fervently. Thank you so much. This means everything. Diana hands back the album, but her eyes stay on Julian. Where's your gallery? Chelsea. West, 24th Street. Cross Gallery. Subtle, I know. I might stop by. You really don't have to. I want to. She glances at her security guard, who's tapping his watch. I have to go. But Julian? Yes. Next time you need to process, try the men's room. Just a suggestion. She's swept away by her team. The crowd closes ranks behind her, and Julian and Marco are left standing in the cold New York night, one of them holding a signed album and both of them confused. What? Marco says slowly. The actual hell just happened? I have no idea. Diana Monroe might come to your gallery. She won't. People say things like that all the time. Did you seriously tell her you prefer sleep to her concert? It's true. You're insane. Maybe. But as they walk to the subway, Julian finds himself smiling for the first time in weeks. Diana Monroe hasn't been able to stop thinking about the painter for 3 days. This is ridiculous. She's a 45-year-old woman with a career, a daughter, responsibilities. She doesn't obsess over chance encounters with rude 20-somethings who've never heard her music. She especially doesn't spend hours Googling Cross Gallery Chelsea and scrolling through images of abstract paintings that she doesn't entirely understand but finds compelling anyway. Julian Cross, 28, MFA from Yale. Rising star in the New York art scene, according to a review in the Times from 6 months ago. Represented by a boutique gallery that specializes in emerging artists. Single show at the Whitney last year that got positive attention. Upcoming exhibition titled Ruins and Reconstructions. She studies his artist photo on the gallery website. He looks uncomfortable in it, like he wants to be anywhere else, hair pushed back awkwardly, no smile. It's refreshingly human.
She should not go to his gallery.
She has meetings, rehearsals, a phone interview with Rolling Stone. She should not disguise herself like some character in a romantic comedy and show up uninvited at a stranger's workplace just because he treated her like a normal person instead of a commodity. She absolutely should not. Which is how she finds herself standing outside Cross Gallery at 2 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, wearing oversized sunglasses, a baseball cap, and her daughter's Columbia sweatshirt. The gallery is smaller than she expected, tucked between a coffee shop and an artisanal cheese store. Through the window, she can see white walls, track lighting, and splashes of color that pull the eye like magnets. Diana takes a breath and pushes through the door. Inside, the space opens up, larger than it appears from the street. The paintings dominate, massive canvases that seem to vibrate with energy. Abstract shapes collide and merge, colors bleeding into each other with a violence that feels emotional rather than random. There's pain in these paintings, but also hope, maybe, or at least the memory of hope. Can I help you? Julian emerges from a back room, wiping his hands on a paint-stained rag. He doesn't recognize her at first, seeing only another potential customer. Then his eyes widen. You came. Diana pushes her sunglasses up. You said I might find it interesting. I said you probably wouldn't. I'm contrary. A smile tugs at his mouth. I'm learning that. They stand in awkward silence for a moment. Diana gestures at the walls. Are these all yours? For better or worse? She moves to the nearest painting, a riot of reds and blacks that somehow resolves into something almost figurative if you squint. A body, maybe, or a building collapsing. Tell me about this one. That's from my demolition series. I was exploring the idea of necessary destruction. Things that have to fall apart before they can be rebuilt. Cheerful. I was going through something at the time. The personal trainer situation? Among other things. He comes to stand beside her, studying his own work with a critical eye. My therapist said I should try channeling my anger into something productive. Apparently, I channeled it into depicting the apocalypse. Diana laughs. Your therapist must be proud. She bought one, so I think she approves. They move through the gallery slowly. Julian explains his process, his influences, his obsessions. He talks about Mark Rothko and Gerhard Richter, about trying to capture emotion in abstract form, about the terror of blank canvas and the relief of first mark. Diana listens, asks questions, finds herself genuinely fascinated. This is so far from her world. No audience, no applause, just solitary work in a studio, wrestling with internal demons and hoping the result speaks to someone. How do you know when it's finished? She asks. I don't really. Sometimes I'll go back to a painting weeks later and destroy it because I realize it wasn't saying what I thought it was saying. That must be hard. It's honest. He looks at her. How do you know when a performance is right? I don't. Not really. Every night is different. Sometimes I'm just going through the motions, and sometimes something happens, the crowd responds a certain way, or I find a new phrasing in a song I've sung 1,000 times, and it clicks. Those are the nights that remind me why I do this. And the other nights? I drink expensive wine in my hotel room and wonder if I've wasted my life. The honesty surprises even her. She doesn't say things like that, certainly not to strangers. But something about the space, about Julian's unfiltered way of being, makes pretense feel exhausting. For what it's worth, Julian says quietly, I Googled you after the concert. You haven't wasted anything. You Googled me? My friend Marco made me. He thought I was rude. You were rude. I was honest. Same thing, apparently, in your world. They smile at each other, and Diana feels something shift. Not love, not yet, but recognition. Like finding someone who speaks your language in a foreign country. She spends 2 hours in the gallery. They talk about art and music, about the pressure of public perception, about creating under scrutiny. She buys painting after painting until Julian finally says, You don't have to do this. Do what? Buy my entire inventory out of pity. It's not pity. I like them. You like 20 paintings? I like 19. That one, she points to a blue abstract, is garbage and you know it. Julian looks at the painting, then back at her. That's my favorite piece in the show. Then you have terrible taste, says the woman who's bought my entire collection. 19 paintings. Not the blue one. Why not the blue one? Because it's dishonest. Everything else here is raw and painful and real. That one's pretty. You were trying to make something people would like instead of something true. Julian stares at her for a long moment. Then he walks to the blue painting, takes it off the wall, and carries it to the back room. When he returns, he's smiling. Okay. Thank you. For what? For seeing it. Diana's phone buzzes. Her assistant, reminding her about the interview in an hour. Reality intrudes, unwelcome and insistent. I have to go, she says reluctantly. Wait. Julian pulls a business card from his pocket, scribbles on the back. My number. For coordinating the painting's delivery. And, I don't know.
If you want to talk about art.
Or music. Or anything. Diana takes the card, studies his handwriting, messy, urgent, honest. I'm going to France next week. Another leg of the tour. If you're ever in Paris? She trails off, realizing how ridiculous she sounds. Why would a painter from Chelsea come to Paris? Because a pop star he barely knows extended a vague invitation. But Julian just nods.
Paris.
Okay. You don't have to, Diana. He says her name carefully, like he's testing its shape. I'd like to see you again. If that's something you'd want, I would. The admission feels dangerous. I really would. She leaves before she can say anything else, before she can examine too closely why this matters so much. But as she walks back to her car, Julian's card warm in her pocket, she feels something she hasn't felt in years.
Possibility.
Julian's studio smells like failure and turpentine. He's been staring at the same blank canvas for 3 hours, brush in hand, waiting for inspiration that refuses to come. Every time he tries to start something new, his mind drifts to Paris. To Diana. To the invitation she probably didn't mean seriously. It's been 5 days since the gallery visit. She hasn't called. He hasn't called. They exist in a weird limbo of potential that might never actualize. His phone rings. Unknown number. Hello? Julian? It's Diana. A pause. Monroe. I know which Diana. He sits up, knocking over a jar of brushes. Hi. Hi. She sounds nervous, which somehow makes him less nervous. I'm at the airport.
About to board.
I don't know. I wanted to hear your voice before I left. How's the tour going? It's a tour. Hotels, venues, interviews, repeat. I'm starting to forget which city I'm in. A PA announcement echoes behind her. I sound pathetic. You sound tired. I am tired.
I'm so tired, Julian.
Another pause. I meant what I said. About Paris. I know it's crazy and presumptuous, and you have your work. When's your show?
Saturday.
At the Accor Arena. But I have rehearsals all week, and there's this cocktail party at the Louvre tomorrow night that I have to attend, and I'm rambling. Diana. Yes. I'll be there Friday. Silence. Then, really? Really? I haven't painted anything good in a week anyway. Maybe Paris will help. You don't have to. I know. I want to. He can hear her smile through the phone. Okay.
God. Okay.
I'll have my assistant send you hotel information. We're at the George V. I'll get you a room. I can book my own. Julian, let me do this. Please. Okay. They talk for a few more minutes before her boarding call. After she hangs up, Julian sits in his studio, staring at the blank canvas, and suddenly knows exactly what to paint. He works through the night, mixing colors, testing shapes, letting his subconscious take over. By dawn, the canvas is covered, a figure emerging from abstract chaos, half hidden, half revealed. A woman who could be anyone but is unmistakably her. Friday morning, he boards a plane to Paris with nothing but a carry-on and a heart full of questions he's afraid to answer. The Hotel George V is obscenely luxurious. Julian's room is bigger than his entire apartment, with a view of the Eiffel Tower and a marble bathroom that echoes when he walks. A bottle of champagne waits on ice with a note in Diana's handwriting. Glad you came. Dinner at 9. He showers, changes into the one decent outfit he packed, and tries to calm his nerves. This is insane. He barely knows this woman. She's famous and established and 19 years older than him, and he's a painter from Brooklyn who still has student loan debt. But when she knocks on his door at exactly 9, wearing a simple black dress and looking at him like he's the only person in the world, all his doubts evaporate. Hi, she says. Hi. They stand there, grinning at each other like idiots. I can't believe you came, Diana says finally. I can't believe you invited me. I'm glad I did. They have dinner at a tiny bistro that Diana found years ago, tucked away in the Marais, where no one recognizes her. They share wine and steak frites and stories about their lives. Diana talks about her daughter, about the divorce, about learning to be alone after being half of a couple for so long. Julian talks about art school, about his family in Vermont, about the terror and freedom of making things that might never be seen. How long were you married? Julian asks. 15 years. Married at 29, divorced at 44. The math is depressing. What happened? The usual. He got successful, I got successful. We stopped seeing each other. Then he started seeing his yoga instructor. Literally. Very literally. That's shitty.
It was.
It still is sometimes. Diana traces the rim of her wine glass. But I'm trying to see it as a chance to figure out who I am without him. I've been Diana and Marcus for so long, I forgot how to just be Diana. And who is Diana? I'm still figuring that out. She looks at him. Who's Julian? A painter who makes questionable life choices. Like flying to Paris for a woman you barely know? Exactly like that. They walk back to the hotel, through streets gleaming with rain. Diana takes his hand, and it feels simultaneously significant and natural. In the hotel lobby, they stop. I should let you get some rest, Diana says, not letting go of his hand.
Yeah.
Big day tomorrow. Julian. Yes. Do you want to come up?
Just to talk.
I'm too wired to sleep. He knows it's not just a talk. She knows he knows. They're both adults capable of making choices and accepting consequences. Yes, he says. I do. In her suite, larger even than his room, with a grand piano by the window, they sit on the couch and try to talk. But the air between them has become electric, every casual touch charged with intention. When she leans in to kiss him, it feels like something they've been building toward since the bathroom at Madison Square Garden. They make love slowly, carefully, like they're both afraid of breaking something precious. Afterward, Diana lies in his arms, and Julian thinks about all the reasons this is complicated and impossible. But he also thinks about how right it feels. "I'm too old for you," Diana whispers against his chest. Says who?
Society.
Common sense. My therapist, probably. Your therapist doesn't know me. She'd say you're a rebound. Am I? Diana lifts her head to look at him.
No.
You're definitely not a rebound. Then what am I? I don't know yet, but I'd like to find out. They fall asleep tangled together, and when Julian wakes to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and the sound of Diana humming in the shower, he thinks, I could get used to this. Which is, of course, exactly the problem. From Paris, they go to Berlin. From Berlin to London. From London to Barcelona. 6 weeks of hotels and venues and stolen moments between sound checks and interviews. Julian paints in hotel rooms while Diana rehearses, trying to capture the strange, nomadic beauty of this life. His canvases fill with cities glimpsed from tour bus windows, with the electric energy of backstage corridors, with Diana herself, Diana laughing, Diana sleeping, Diana in the shower singing off-key. Her crew accepts him, with bemused tolerance. He's not the first boyfriend to join a tour, and he won't be the last. What surprises them is how little he asks for, how content he seems to just exist in the margins of Diana's world. Most partners want access, attention, proof that they're special. Julian brings his art supplies and disappears for hours, emerging only when Diana has free time. Your boy is weird, her tour manager, Sam, tells Diana after a show in Hamburg. He's not weird. He's focused. He turned down backstage passes to the Rolling Stones. We had extra tickets. I offered. He said he'd rather work. Diana smiles. He really doesn't care about any of this, does he? Not even a little bit. It's deeply unsettling. But Sam is wrong. Julian does care, just not about the things most people care about. He cares about the way Diana's hands shake slightly before she goes on stage. He cares about the ritual she performs every night, the same vocal warm-up, the same 3 deep breaths, the same whispered prayer to no one in particular. He cares about who she is when the lights go down and the crowd disappears. They steal time together however they can. Museum visits in Madrid, coffee in Amsterdam cafes, long walks through Prague while Diana wears a wig and sunglasses. They're careful, conscious of cameras and fans and the inevitable exposure. Diana's publicist has advised extreme caution. Age gaps make people uncomfortable, Sarah had said during a tense phone call. Especially when it's an older woman. The media will eat you alive. I'm 45, not 80, Diana protested. To tabloids, you're ancient. And he's practically a child. He's 28. He's younger than your daughter by 2 years. That landed like a punch. Diana still hasn't told Emma about Julian. She's been putting it off, making excuses, waiting for the right moment that never arrives. Every time she calls her daughter, she almost mentions him, then pivots to safer topics, classes, friends, summer plans. Julian knows she's hiding him. He doesn't say anything, but she can see it in his eyes sometimes. The question, am I something you're ashamed of? In London, on a rare free day, they visit the Tate Modern. Julian stands in front of a Rothko for 20 minutes, saying nothing, just absorbing. Diana watches him watching art, struck by the intensity of his focus. This is what he looks like when he's truly happy. Not performing happiness, not pretending, just fully, completely present. What are you thinking? She asks finally. That I want to paint like this. Not technically, I could never. But this feeling, this overwhelming emotional presence. I want my work to make people feel something this big. You already do. He looks at her skeptically. I'm serious, Diana insists. The painting in your studio, the one you were working on that day I visited. I think about it all the time. It made me feel exposed in the best way. Like you'd seen something true about the world and captured it. You're biased. I'm honest. They kiss in front of the Rothko, and Diana thinks, this is real. Whatever comes next, this moment is real. That night, after her show at the O2 Arena, they lie in bed at Claridge's. Julian traces patterns on her bare shoulder, and Diana feels something shift inside her. Something that's been locked tight for 2 years, maybe longer. "I think I'm falling in love with you," she says, her voice small in the darkness. Julian's hand stills. "You think?" "I know. I'm terrified, but I know." He kisses her forehead. "I'm already there."
How?
"It's only been 6 weeks. Sometimes that's all it takes." Diana rolls to face him. "What are we doing, Julian?" "Really? I have to finish this tour. 5 more cities, then back to New York, and then what? You have your life, your gallery, your work. I have mine. I have a daughter who doesn't know you exist. I have an ex-husband who'd love to use this against me. I have a public image to maintain." So, we figured out. It's not that simple. "Why not?" "Because." Diana sits up, frustrated. "Because you're 28 and I'm 45, and people will say terrible things. They'll say I'm pathetic, that you're using me, that this is some kind of midlife crisis. They'll compare us in every photo, point out every wrinkle, every gray hair, every sign that I'm too old for you." Julian sits up too, taking her hands. "Do you care what they think?" "I shouldn't."
But yes.
"I do.
Why?
Because I've spent my entire adult life in the public eye. Every relationship, every failure, every pound gained or lost, it's all been dissected and judged. And this," she gestures between them, "this will be the worst one yet. The desperate older woman clinging to youth. The divorced diva who can't accept her age. Or," Julian says quietly, "it could be 2 people who found something real in a world full of fake." Diana wants to believe him. God, she wants to. But she's seen how this story ends. She's watched other women go through it. The mockery, the cruelty, the way society punishes women for wanting the same things men take for granted. "I need to think," she says finally. "Okay. I'm not ending this. I just need time to figure out how to do this without losing everything I've built." Julian nods, but something in his eyes has shuddered. "Whatever you need." They make love again, but it feels different now, desperate, like they're both trying to hold on to something already slipping away. The photo is taken in Barcelona at a small Italian restaurant tucked away in the Gothic quarter. Diana thought they were safe, hidden behind dark glasses and a corner table. But someone had a camera phone and an Instagram account and 20,000 followers. By morning, they're everywhere. Diana Monroe's secret romance with mystery man. Who is Julian Cross? Meet Diana's much younger boyfriend. Diana Monroe, 45, spotted with painter half her age. Diana's phone explodes. Texts from her publicist, her manager, her lawyer, her daughter. The worst is Emma's message. "Mom. What the actual fuck?" Julian sits on the hotel bed, scrolling through tabloid websites on his phone. His gallery is being bombarded with calls. A reporter showed up at his studio. His parents called, confused and worried. His carefully private life has been invaded by strangers who think they have a right to judge his choices. "I'm sorry," Diana says for the 100th time. "It's not your fault." "It is. I should have been more careful. We were in a restaurant, having dinner, like normal people. But we're not normal people. I'm not." She paces the room, her hands shaking. "Look at this one. Diana's desperate grab at youth. This one, new boy toy or real romance. This one calls you my midlife crisis on canvas." Julian tosses his phone aside. "So, don't read them." "I have to read them. This is my reputation, my career." "Is that all you care about?" The question hangs in the air, sharp and accusatory. Diana stops pacing. "That's not fair." "Isn't it? You've spent 6 weeks telling me how much this means to you, how real this is. But the second we get caught, you're worried about your reputation? You don't understand the pressure I'm under. I have a tour to finish, albums to sell, a daughter who's furious with me." Why is Emma furious? Diana's silence is answer enough. "You still haven't told her about me." Julian's voice goes flat. "She found out from the internet." Jesus, Diana. I was waiting for the right time. We've been together for 6 weeks. We've traveled through half of Europe. When exactly was the right time going to magically appear? Don't you dare judge me. Diana's voice rises. You have no idea what it's like to navigate this world. You get to be the mysterious artist, the talented younger man who's slumming it with a pop star. I'm the punchline, the pathetic older woman who can't accept that her time has passed. No one thinks that. Everyone thinks that. Look at the comments. Look at what they're saying. She shoves her phone at him. He reads. She looks like his mom, lol, embarrassing. Someone tell grandma to act her age, he's obviously using her for fame. Gold digger. She's had so much plastic surgery she thinks she's still 25. Sad and desperate. Julian's jaw tightens. He reads comment after comment, each one crueler than the last. The vitriol directed at Diana is overwhelming. And yes, there are supportive comments too, people defending their relationship, but the hate is louder. Okay, he says quietly. I get it now. Do you? You're scared. And I understand that. But Diana, if we let them win, if we hide or break up or pretend this doesn't mean anything, then they've destroyed something real. And if we don't hide, what then? My daughter hates me. The press is crucifying me. Your career will suffer because you'll always be Diana Monroe's boyfriend instead of Julian Cross, artist. I don't care about that. You will. Eventually you will. Emma calls. Diana answers, stepping onto the balcony. Julian can hear fragments through the glass. Didn't think it was important enough to mention. He's my age, Mom. What were you thinking? So embarrassing. When Diana comes back inside, her eyes are red. Emma wants to come to London.
To meet you.
She's flying out tomorrow. That's good, right? She sounded furious. She thinks I'm having some kind of breakdown. Diana sits heavily on the bed. Maybe I am. Don't say that. Why not? Look at us. Look at this mess. Maybe everyone's right. Maybe I am a ridiculous older woman pretending she can still have adventures and fall in love like she's 25. Julian kneels in front of her, taking her hands. You're 45 years old. You're talented and beautiful, and you deserve to be happy. If people can't handle that, that's their problem, not yours. Easy to say when you're not the one being called desperate and pathetic. You think they're not saying things about me? That I'm a gold digger? A user? That I couldn't possibly actually love you? I must be after your money or fame? Diana looks up. I didn't think about that. Because you're so focused on protecting yourself that you can't see I'm in this with you. Whatever happens, whatever people say, I'm here. But I need you to be here too. Really here. Not halfway out the door, because you're scared. I am scared. I know.
So am I.
Let's be scared together. Diana leans her forehead against his. What if Emma hates you? Then I'll win her over. What if the press gets worse? Then we ignore them. What if this doesn't work? Then at least we tried. They hold each other as the Barcelona sun sets, painting the sky in colors Julian wishes he could capture. Outside, the world judges them. Inside, they're just two people trying to hold onto something precious. Diana's phone buzzes again. Her publicist. She ignores it. I'm not ready to give you up, she whispers. Then don't. But even as they kiss, both of them know something has shifted. The secret is out. The bubble has burst. Now comes the hard part, figuring out if what they have is strong enough to survive reality. Emma Monroe arrives at Heathrow looking like her mother 20 years ago. Same cheekbones, same intense eyes, same way of holding herself that suggests she's ready for battle. She's wearing Columbia sweatshirt and ripped jeans, her dark hair pulled back in a messy bun, and when she spots Diana in the private lounge, her expression is pure ice. Mom.
Emma.
Honey, thank you for coming. Where is he? At the hotel. I thought we should talk first. What's there to talk about? You're dating someone my age. Actually, someone younger than me. It's gross. Diana flinches. Can we at least sit down? They find a corner away from other travelers. Emma drops her backpack, crosses her arms, and waits. Diana recognizes the posture. It's the same one Emma used at 14 when caught sneaking out, At 16 when she got her first C. At 18 when Diana suggested Columbia might not be the right fit. It's Emma's armor. I should have told you. Diana starts.
Yeah.
You should have. I was trying to find the right time. Oh my God, Mom. That's such bullshit. Emma's voice rises, then drops when people glance over. You had 6 weeks. 6 weeks of touring Europe with your secret boyfriend. You couldn't find time for one phone call? It's complicated. Because he's 28? Or because you knew I'd think it was insane? Both. Neither. Emma, I know how this looks.
Do you?
Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like my newly divorced mother is having a midlife crisis and dragging some poor artist along for the ride. That's not what this is. Then what is it? Diana takes a breath. I love him. Emma stares at her. You've known him for 6 weeks. I know. That's not love. That's infatuation. That's rebound sex with a pretty face. Emma.
What?
You think I don't know about sex? I'm 20 years old, Mom. And I'm smart enough to recognize a disaster when I see one. He's not a disaster. He's kind and talented, and he sees me as a person, not as Diana Monroe the brand. Oh, please. He sees a rich, famous woman who can advance his career. That's not true. Julian doesn't care about any of that. Everyone cares about that. That's how the world works. Diana studies her daughter, sees her own cynicism reflected back. When did Emma get so jaded? Or maybe the better question, did she learn it from watching her mother navigate a brutal industry, watching her marriage crumble, watching every mistake get dissected by strangers? Just meet him, Diana says quietly. One dinner. If you still hate him after that, I'll listen. Really listen. Emma's jaw works.
Fine.
One dinner. But I'm not going to pretend this is okay. I'm not asking you to. They drive to the hotel in tense silence. Diana texts Julian. She's here. Dinner at 8. Wish us luck. His response. You don't need luck. Just be honest. The hotel restaurant is nearly empty. Julian arrives first, wearing a button-down shirt that's slightly wrinkled and dress pants that don't quite match. He looks nervous and young and completely out of place in the Michelin-starred dining room. Emma takes one look at him, and Diana sees her daughter's expression harden further. Emma, this is Julian. Julian, my daughter Emma. It's nice to meet you, Julian says, extending his hand. Emma looks at his hand like it's a snake. After a long moment, she shakes it limply.
Sure.
They sit. The waiter brings menus. No one speaks. Finally, Emma says, So, you're an artist? Yes. How convenient. Dating someone famous must be great for your career. Emma. Diana starts. It's okay, Julian interrupts. He looks directly at Emma. You're right to be suspicious. If I were you, I'd think the same thing. Your mother is successful and famous and beautiful. Of course people want to use her. So you admit it. I admit that's how it looks. But no, I'm not using her. I'm in love with her. And I know that sounds ridiculous given the timeline, and I know the age gap makes people uncomfortable. Makes me uncomfortable. I understand that. But I can't control how old I am any more than you can control how old you are. We met, we connected, and something real happened. I'm not asking you to approve. Just consider the possibility that this isn't what you think it is. Emma leans back, studying him. You're younger than me. By 2 years. Doesn't that weird you out? Dating someone who could be your mother? Emma. Diana's cheeks burn. But Julian just nods. Sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes I think about the age gap and wonder if I'm crazy. But then I spend time with your mother, and I forget about all of it because she's brilliant and funny and understands me in ways no one else does. That's the rebound talking. Maybe. Or maybe it's real, and that scares you because it means your mother is moving on from your father. Silence falls like a hammer. Emma's eyes glisten. Don't pretend to know what I'm feeling. I'm not. I'm guessing. And I could be completely wrong. Julian's voice softens. Look, I lost my parents in a car accident when I was 19. I know what it's like when your family structure falls apart. I know how much it hurts to watch your parents' marriage end, even when you're an adult. So I get it. I get why you're angry. Diana's hand finds Julian's under the table. She had no idea about his parents. 6 weeks together, and somehow that never came up. How much else doesn't she know? Emma wipes at her eyes roughly. This is so fucked up. Language. Diana says automatically. I'm 20 years old. I can say fuck. Not at dinner. We're talking about you sleeping with someone my age. I think fuck is appropriate. I'm not sleeping with. Diana stops. Actually, that's none of your business. It is when it's all over the internet. My friends are texting me asking if the rumors are true. Do you know how humiliating that is? I'm sorry. I really am. But, Emma, I'm still a person. I'm still allowed to have a life. A life?
Fine.
Date someone. But did it have to be him? Someone so young, everyone's making jokes about cougars and toy boys. That's enough, Julian says quietly. You can hate me. You can think I'm using your mother. You can be angry and hurt and confused. But you don't get to talk about her like she's pathetic for finding happiness. She spent 2 years rebuilding her life after your father destroyed their marriage. She deserves better than your contempt. Diana's breath catches. No one has defended her like this. Not her publicist, not her manager, not even herself. Emma stares at Julian. Then, unexpectedly, she laughs. You really love her? Yes. You're not going to back down.
No.
Even though everyone thinks you're a gold digger. I don't care what everyone thinks. Emma looks at her mother. Is he always this intense? Usually he's worse, Diana admits. Another silence, but this one feels different. Less hostile. More uncertain. I need time, Emma says finally. I'm not going to suddenly be okay with this. But I'll try.
For you, Mom.
Not for him. That's all I'm asking.
They eat dinner.
The conversation is stilted but civil. Emma asks Julian about his work, grudgingly admits his gallery showing sounds interesting. Julian asks Emma about Colombia, learns she's studying environmental science, connects it to some artist who works with recycled materials. By dessert, Emma is almost smiling. As they're leaving, Emma pulls Diana aside. He's not what I expected. No. I thought he'd be slimy.
Fake.
But he actually seems to care about you. He does. You really love him? I really do. Emma sighs. This is still weird. And people are going to be awful about it. You know that, right? I know. But if he makes you happy? Emma trails off, uncomfortable with the admission. Just be careful, okay? I can't watch you get hurt again. Diana hugs her daughter tight. I'm being as careful as I can. That's not very careful at all, knowing you. They laugh, and something loosens in Diana's chest. Not fixed, not perfect, but maybe heading in the right direction. Later, in bed, Julian asks, how bad was it? She called you my midlife crisis. Fair assessment. She also said you actually seem to care about me. Also fair. Diana rolls to face him. You never told me about your parents. Julian's expression shifts. It was a long time ago. But it matters. It's part of who you are. There's a lot we don't know about each other yet. That's normal at 6 weeks. Is it? Sometimes I feel like I've known you forever. Other times you're a complete stranger. That's how love works, isn't it? You're always learning. Always discovering. Diana traces his jawline. I want to keep discovering you. Even when it's hard? Especially then. They make love slowly, tenderly, like they're memorizing each other. And afterward, as Julian sleeps, Diana lies awake thinking about Emma's warning. People are going to be awful about it. She knows. She's always known. The question is whether they're strong enough to survive it. The paparazzi photograph outside Claridge's is devastating in its banality. Diana and Julian, leaving the hotel at 6 a.m., her hair messy from sleep, him in yesterday's clothes. She's laughing at something he said, her hand on his chest, completely unguarded. They look happy. They look in love. The headline, Diana's Walk of Shame, Cougar singer parades toy boy in public. The article is worse. It speculates about their relationship, quotes insiders suggesting Julian is after her money, includes a poll asking readers, is Diana's romance inappropriate? 73% vote yes. The comments are vicious. She looks so desperate. My mom is her age and would never. He's going to leave her the second someone younger comes along. Gold digger 100%. When will these aging celebrities learn they can't buy love? Diana's publicist calls an emergency meeting. So does her label. Her tour manager warns that some venues are getting pushback, conservative groups calling for boycotts because she's promoting immoral relationships. This is absurd, Diana says during the conference call. I'm a grown woman dating a grown man. Your brand, her label exec counters. And right now, the brand is taking a hit. We need damage control. What kind of damage control? A pause. We think you should take a break from the relationship. At least publicly. Let things die down. You want me to hide him. We want you to be strategic. Finish the tour. Release the album. Then, if you're still together in 6 months, we can reassess. That's insane. That's business. Diana hangs up, furious and trapped. She looks at Julian, who's been sitting quietly throughout the call. Say something. What do you want me to say? That this is wrong. That they can't tell me who to date. They can't. But they can make your life hell if you don't comply. Julian starts pacing. This is what I was afraid of. This is why I shouldn't have come. Don't say that. It's true. Your career is suffering because of me. Your daughter barely tolerates me. The press is destroying you. Maybe everyone's right. Maybe this is a disaster. Julian. I love you. He stops pacing, looks at her with those painfully honest eyes. I love you so much it scares me. But I can't watch you lose everything because of me. I'm not losing everything. Aren't you? He gestures at her laptop, still open to the brutal article. Your label wants you to hide me. Your publicist is having a breakdown. Your daughter thinks I'm ruining your life. How much more can you take? Diana doesn't have an answer. The tour continues. Madrid, Milan, Munich. Each city brings new photographers, new invasive questions, new articles dissecting their relationship. Diana performs brilliantly, professionalism carved from years of practice, but backstage she's crumbling. Julian tries to stay out of sight. He stops coming to VIP sections. He stops attending after parties. He makes himself smaller and smaller, trying to be less of a problem. But his absence only makes Diana more aware of the cage she's in. In Vienna, they have their worst fight. It starts with Julian saying he's thinking of going back to New York early, just to give Diana space to focus on the tour. You're leaving? Diana's voice goes sharp. I'm trying to help. By abandoning me? By not making things worse. So, you're going to run away the second things get hard? Julian's jaw clenches. That's not fair. I've been here, through all of this. But I can't keep watching them tear you apart. Every day there's a new article, a new insult, a new way they find to make you feel like shit for being with me. And you think leaving will make that better? I think staying is selfish. I think I'm making your life harder, and I can't, his voice breaks. I can't be the reason you lose everything you've worked for. Diana's anger drains away. Julian, you're not the reason.
They are.
The press, the label, the people who think they have a right to judge us. Don't give them that power. I'm not giving them anything. They already have it. So we just surrender? We let them win. Maybe they're right. Julian sits heavily on the hotel bed. Maybe I am too young. Maybe you do deserve someone on your level, someone established and successful. Someone my age, you mean?
Yes.
Someone who doesn't make people think you're desperate or pathetic. Stop it. Diana kneels in front of him. Stop letting their poison into your head. It's already there. It's been there since Barcelona. Every time someone calls me a gold digger, every time they imply I'm using you, every time your daughter looks at me like I'm stealing her mother, it's there. And I don't know how to fight it. Diana takes his face in her hands. By staying. By not giving up on us. Is there an us anymore? Or are we just two people who met at the wrong time? The question hangs between them, heavy and frightening. I don't know, Diana admits. Some days, I think we can make this work. Other days, I think I'm being selfish, dragging you into my complicated life when you deserve simple and easy. I don't want easy. I want you. Even if being with me destroys your career, your privacy, your peace. Julian doesn't answer immediately. The silence stretches. I need to think, he says finally. Okay. I'm going to go back to New York after Munich.
Just for a while.
Not forever. Just to clear my head. Diana's heart cracks. How long is a while? I don't know. They don't make love that night. They lie on opposite sides of the bed, both pretending to sleep, both wide awake. In the morning, Julian packs his bag. Diana watches from the bed, memorizing him. The way he folds his shirts, the paint stains he can never quite wash from his hands, the careful way he handles his brushes. At the door, he kisses her. I love you. I love you too. I'm not saying goodbye. Just see you later. See you later. But as the door closes behind him, Diana isn't sure she believes it. The rest of the tour is a blur. She performs, she smiles, she signs autographs. Inside, she's hollow. She calls Julian twice. Both times it goes to voicemail.
She texts.
The responses are short, distant. Working on new pieces. Need time to think. Miss you. But never. Come home. But never. I'm sorry. But never. Let's fix this. Emma calls after seeing the gossip sites reporting Julian's departure.
Mom.
Are you okay? I'm fine. You're not. I can hear it in your voice. He just needed space. It's temporary. Or maybe it's for the best. Diana's anger flares. You mean because he's too young? Because we're inappropriate. I mean because you both seem miserable. Mom, I've been watching the press coverage. It's brutal. Maybe stepping back isn't the worst idea. So you think we should break up? I think you should do whatever makes you happy. But from where I'm sitting, this relationship has brought you nothing but pain. Diana wants to argue. But Emma's not entirely wrong. The past few weeks have been exhausting, painful, sometimes unbearable. The only bright spots were moments alone with Julian, and now those are gone too. I should go, Diana says. Sound check in an hour. Mom, I'll call you later. She hangs up before Emma can say anything else that might make her cry. The tour ends in London, Royal Albert Hall, her favorite venue in the world. She performs for 3 hours, giving everything she has, pouring all her pain and longing into every song. The crowd is ecstatic. The reviews are glowing. And Diana has never felt more alone. In her hotel room afterward, she pours a glass of wine and stares at her phone. Julian hasn't texted in 3 days. She could call. She could demand answers. She could fly to New York tomorrow and force a conversation. Instead, she opens her laptop and reads through her upcoming schedule. Studio time for the new album. Press appearances. Award show performances. Her life, mapped out for the next 6 months, every hour accounted for. Nowhere in that schedule is space for heartbreak. Nowhere is time to fall apart. So she doesn't. She closes the laptop, finishes her wine, and goes to bed. Tomorrow, she'll be fine. She has to be. 1 year later, Julian's newest exhibition, Reconstructions, opens at the Whitney to critical acclaim. The paintings are larger than his previous work, bolder, more confident. They're abstract but emotional, capturing something raw about loss and hope and the space between. The centerpiece is a massive canvas titled Intermission, a figure suspended between chaos and clarity, caught in the moment before everything changes. Everyone who sees it feels something, though no one can articulate exactly what. Diana sees the review in the New York Times while eating breakfast in her London flat. She's been living here for 6 months, taking a break from touring, working on new music, trying to remember who she is without the noise. She hasn't spoken to Julian since Vienna. It's been the longest, hardest year of her life. The divorce was rough. The scandal was brutal. But losing Julian, or choosing to let him go, which is more accurate, that destroyed something in her that she's only now beginning to rebuild. She studies the image of intermission on her laptop. Even in reproduction, it's stunning. She sees herself in it. Or maybe she sees both of them, suspended, uncertain, waiting. On impulse, she books a flight to New York. Her therapist would probably say this is impulsive and unhealthy. Her publicist would definitely say it's a terrible idea. Emma, surprisingly, might understand. Her daughter has been coming around lately. They had dinner last month when Emma came to visit, and Emma admitted, "I think I was too hard on him. On both of you. I was dealing with my own stuff about Dad, and I took it out on your relationship." "It's okay." "It's not. You seemed happy with him, Mom. I haven't seen you happy like that before. Not even with Dad." The conversation has haunted Diana ever since. She lands at JFK, takes a car straight to the Whitney. It's late afternoon, the gallery filled with art lovers and critics, and people who want to be seen seeing important art. Diana wears her disguise, hat, glasses, deliberately casual clothes, and slips through the crowd unnoticed. She finds intermission in the central gallery. It's even more powerful in person, the colors vibrating with emotion. She stands in front of it for a long time, letting it speak to her. It's about waiting. A voice says beside her,
"Julian."
He's wearing paint-stained jeans and a worn t-shirt, his hair longer than she remembers, a new scar above his left eyebrow. He looks tired. He looks beautiful. Waiting for what? Diana asks, not looking at him yet. For the courage to try again. He moves to stand beside her, both of them facing the painting. "I painted it 6 months ago. When I realized that walking away didn't make me hurt less. It just made me hurt alone." Diana's throat tightens. "It's extraordinary. It's about you."
"They're all about you."
He gestures at the surrounding paintings. "Turns out you can't run from inspiration. It just follows you until you deal with it." "I'm sorry I didn't call. I'm sorry I left." They stand in silence, years of words trapped between them. Finally, Diana says, "I finished the tour.
"Released the album."
Did everything my label wanted." "I heard. Congratulations. The reviews were amazing. It was the loneliest 6 months of my life." She turns to face him finally. "I kept thinking about what you said. About being scared together. I wasn't brave enough then. I let them scare me into choosing safety over happiness. I wasn't brave either. I ran the second things got hard." "So, where does that leave us?" Julian takes a breath. "I've spent the past year painting you,
Thinking about you.
missing you, and I've realized something." "What?" "I don't care what they say. I don't care about the age gap or the headlines or any of it. I care about you.
Just you."
And if that means dealing with the press and the judgment and all the complicated, messy parts, then fine. I'll deal with it. Because losing you was worse than any of that." Diana's eyes fill with tears. "Julian, I know it's been a year. I know you might have moved on. I know I have no right to show up here and expect anything.
"But I had to try."
Even if you say no, even if it's too late, I had to try." Diana doesn't trust herself to speak. Instead, she kisses him. Right there in the middle of the Whitney, surrounded by strangers and paintings and the ruins and reconstructions of their relationship. He kisses her back like he's been waiting a year to breathe. When they finally break apart, Diana says, "I haven't moved on. I tried.
"God, I tried."
But nobody else is you. So, we're doing this? Really doing this. If you'll have me, complete with my complicated life and my difficult daughter and my public career. I want all of it." Julian cups her face. "The complicated parts are my favorite parts." They leave the gallery together, hands linked, no longer hiding. Diana knows the photos will surface by tomorrow. The articles will be brutal. The comments will be worse. But for the first time in a year, she doesn't care. They go to Julian's studio, now twice the size of his old space, filled with paintings and sketches and the smell of turpentine that Diana has missed desperately. They make love surrounded by art, and it feels like coming home. Afterward, lying tangled in sheets on Julian's studio couch, Diana says, "Emma wants to have dinner with us. Both of us." She said, and I quote, "If Mom's going to keep dating someone younger than me, I should probably actually get to know him." Julian laughs. Progress. Small steps. Diana traces patterns on his chest. "I'm taking 6 months off touring. I want to focus on writing. Maybe we could travel? Not for work. Just for us." "Where would we go?" "Anywhere. Everywhere. Nowhere." She kisses his shoulder. "As long as I'm with you, I don't particularly care." That's very impractical for someone who usually has every minute scheduled. I'm learning to be impractical. "How's that going?" "Terrifyingly well." They talk through the night, making plans, making promises, making up for lost time. Diana tells him about the album, about the songs she wrote during their separation, about how every lyric bled with missing him. Julian tells her about the paintings, about the gallery interest, about the offer from a museum in Paris for a solo show. Paris, Diana muses. "We should go back. To the scene of the crime? To the place where this started." She looks at him seriously. "I want to do this right, Julian. No hiding. No being ashamed. I want to show up at that museum opening as your partner and not care who sees. The press will lose their minds. Let them. Your publicist will have a breakdown. She'll recover." "Diana." He makes her look at him. "Are you sure? Really sure? Because I can't do another Vienna. I can't watch you get torn apart and feel helpless again." "I'm sure." She's surprised to find she means it. "I've spent a year trying to please everyone else. I'm done. From now on, I'm making choices that make me happy. And you make me happy. Even though I'm too young and inappropriate and all the other things they say. Especially because of that." They seal the promise with a kiss. 6 months later, they're in Paris. Julian's museum show is a massive success. Diana attends the opening in a stunning dress, Julian's hand in hers, and when the photographers swarm, she smiles. The next day's headlines are predictably awful. Diana's boy toy strikes again. Cougar and cub make public appearance. How long until he leaves her? Diana reads them over breakfast, then closes her laptop and reaches for Julian's hand across the table. "Still okay?" he asks. "More than okay." Because here's what she's learned. The headlines will never stop. The judgment will never end. People will always have opinions about her choices, her age, her love life. But none of that matters as much as the man sitting across from her, drinking terrible French coffee and sketching on a napkin. None of it matters as much as Emma's text this morning. "Saw the photos. You both look happy. I'm happy for you, Mom." None of it matters as much as the life they're building, messy and complicated and public, and theirs. "What are you thinking?" Julian asks, catching her staring. "That I'm 46 years old and dating a 29-year-old artist, and I've never been more sure of anything in my life." That's quite a realization. "I have them occasionally." She stands, pulling him up with her. "Come on. I want to show you something." She takes him to a small gallery in the Marais, the same one where they had dinner that first night. It's been converted into an art space now, and Diana has been secretly working with the owner. Inside, Julian stops short. The walls are covered with his paintings, not the museum pieces, but earlier work. Pieces he thought he'd lost or sold or forgotten. Diana has spent months tracking them down, buying them back, curating them into a collection that tells the story of his artistic journey. "What is this?" His voice is hushed. "Your retrospective. 10 years of Julian Cross, from art school experiments to the present. I thought you should see how far you've come." He walks through the gallery slowly, seeing his own evolution reflected back at him. The clumsy early work, full of potential but lacking confidence. The transition pieces where he started finding his voice. The breakthrough paintings where everything clicked. And finally, the recent work, bold, assured, unapologetically his. "I did this," he says, standing in front of a painting from his first year at Yale. "You did. It's terrible. It's earnest. There's a difference." Diana comes to stand beside him. "You were learning. You were trying. And look where it led you." Julian turns to her, eyes bright. "How did you even find all of these?" "I'm very determined when I want something. I've noticed." They kiss in the empty gallery, surrounded by his past and their present and the promise of their future. That night, they have dinner with Emma, who flew in as a surprise. She brings her boyfriend, a sweet environmental science grad student named Marcus, not the same Marcus. Diana has to keep reminding herself. And the four of them eat at a tiny restaurant where no one recognizes Diana and no one cares. Emma and Julian talk about art and activism and finding the intersection between the two. Diana watches her daughter laugh, watches Julian listen with genuine interest, watches them build something like friendship. He's good for you, Emma says later, when Julian and Marcus have gone to get dessert. I was wrong. I'm sorry it took me so long to see it. You were protecting me. I can't fault you for that. I was being judgmental and closed-minded. Emma takes her mother's hand. But watching you two together, you're different with him. Lighter. More yourself. I haven't seen you like this since before Dad, and I can't even remember. I'm happy. I can tell. And Mom? I'm glad you didn't give up on him. On this. Diana squeezes her daughter's hand, feeling something heal that she didn't even realize was broken. The year that follows is not easy. The press remains brutal. Diana's next tour faces some backlash, a few canceled shows, some protests from conservative groups. Her label suggests again that she consider a public relations strategy. This time, Diana laughs. My PR strategy is living my life. Take it or leave it. They choose to take it, because ultimately, the music speaks louder than the scandal. Her new album, Reconstructions, yes, titled after Julian's exhibition, debuts at #1. The songs are personal and raw, explicitly about their relationship, about choosing love despite the cost. Critics call it her best work in a decade. Fans embrace it with surprising fervor. It turns out people respond to authenticity, especially when it's messy and complicated. Julian's career flourishes too. He has shows in London, Tokyo, Berlin. His work matures, deepens, gains complexity. And yes, some of that attention comes from being Diana Monroe's boyfriend. But most of it comes from being a brilliant artist in his own right. They buy a loft in Brooklyn, something that's theirs, not hers or his, but theirs. They fill it with art and music and the life they're building together. Some mornings, Diana wakes to find Julian painting in the corner, completely absorbed. Other mornings, he wakes to her composing at the piano, lost in melody. They travel between tour stops, museums and galleries, and tiny restaurants where no one bothers them. They learn each other's rhythms, their needs for space and closeness, the balance between two creative souls sharing one life. It's not perfect. They fight about Julian's tendency to disappear into his work for days, without communicating. Diana struggles with the vulnerability of letting someone see her without armor. They have to navigate the practical realities of age, her body tired more quickly now, his energy sometimes overwhelming. They disagree about where to live long-term, whether to get married. Julian wants to. Diana is hesitant after her divorce. But they keep choosing each other. Every day, they choose each other. 2 years in, Diana's label suggests a documentary. The real story they pitch. Your journey, the relationship, the music. All of it. Diana's first instinct is to refuse. But then she thinks about all the women who've reached out, women in their 40s and 50s and 60s, telling her that seeing her relationship gave them permission to want more from life. To not accept society's narrative that their romantic lives were over. She agrees, with conditions. Julian has to consent, Emma has to be comfortable, and they have final cut. The documentary, Encore, premieres at Sundance. It's unflinchingly honest about the challenges, the press scrutiny, the age gap concerns, the family complications. But it's also a love story. A real one. Messy and imperfect and true. The night after the premiere, lying in bed in their Park City hotel room, Julian says, I have a question. Okay. Will you marry me? Diana's heart stops. What? I know you said you weren't sure. I know marriage is complicated for you. But I want to spend my life with you, and I want it to be official. Legal. A promise we make in front of everyone that this is real and permanent and ours. Julian. You don't have to answer now. Think about it.
Take your time.
But know that I'm asking. That I want this. That I want you always. Diana looks at this man who stumbled into her life in a bathroom at Madison Square Garden. This man who sees her, really sees her, past the fame and the image and the carefully constructed persona. This man who chose her despite the cost, and keeps choosing her every day. Yes, she says. Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. Let's make everyone uncomfortable one more time. Julian laughs, pulling her close. That's the most romantic thing you've ever said to me. I contain multitudes. They marry 6 months later in a small ceremony in Vermont, Julian's home state. Just family and close friends. Emma and Marcus, Julian's best friend Marco, Diana's bandmates, a handful of people who've supported them through everything. The photos leak, of course. The headlines are predictably snarky. Diana Monroe makes it official with boy TOY. Will this marriage last? Betting odds inside, another celebrity cradle robber ties the knot. Diana and Julian frame the worst headlines and hang them in their loft bathroom. A private joke, a reminder of where they started and how far they've come. Emma gives a toast at the reception that makes everyone cry. My mom taught me that it's never too late to be brave. That love doesn't follow a schedule or care about propriety. That happiness is worth fighting for, even when the whole world tells you you're wrong. So, here's to Diana and Julian, the most inappropriately perfect couple I know. Years pass. Diana continues to tour, but less frequently, more selectively. She produces, mentors young artists, explores new creative directions. Julian becomes one of the most celebrated painters of his generation. They collaborate sometimes. She writes songs inspired by his paintings. He creates art inspired by her music. The age gap remains. Diana is 50 now, Julian 33. People still comment, still judge, still make jokes. But somewhere along the way, it stopped mattering. Because here's what they learned: love doesn't require permission. It doesn't need to make sense to anyone except the people living it. And the only approval that matters is the one you give yourself. On their 5th wedding anniversary, they return to Madison Square Garden. Diana is headlining again, and Julian watches from the wings as she performs. Between songs, she tells the story. The mistaken bathroom, the unlikely meeting, the journey that followed. I was 45 and divorced and certain my romantic life was over, she says to the roaring crowd. And then I met someone who showed me that the best love stories don't follow the rules. They write their own. She performs a new song, written for him, titled Wrong Door, Right Person. It's tender and honest and completely them. After the show, they stand in the same bathroom where it all began. It's been renovated since then, modernized, but the bones are the same. Can you believe it's been 7 years? Diana asks. Feels like both forever and yesterday. Any regrets? Julian pulls her close. Not a single one. Not even the headlines? Especially not those. They make great bathroom art. Diana laughs, and the sound echoes in the small space. I love you. I love you too. He kisses her forehead, ready for the next act. Always. They leave the bathroom hand in hand, stepping into the rest of their lives, complicated, public, imperfect, and utterly, beautifully theirs. The crowd has cleared. The arena is quiet. But somewhere in the building, a young woman is walking confidently toward the men's restroom, about to discover her mistake and maybe, just maybe, change her entire life. Because that's how the best stories begin. With a wrong door. And the courage to stay anyway.